Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the iBUG Buzz Monday night session for Monday, May 10th. I'm Marc Biarjo, one of the co-hosts tonight. Sandia and Michael are virtually out of town, so you have Stephen and I to deal with tonight. So we're going to go through a few guidelines here to let you know. This recording is being archived and recorded for ourselves on the website at ibugtoday.org and also for Sight and Sound Radio. This is why you're all muted at the moment. And we ask you to remain muted unless you've been acknowledged to speak and have asked then you can unmute yourself and Stephen will unmute. You can unmute yourself, and when Stephen arrives, so you can go ahead and speak, then speak. Okay. Once you're done speaking, mute yourself again. We do not use the raise hand feature on any of the iBUG calls. So what that means is you have to, when there's a break in the action, you can unmute yourself and say, "This is George, and I'd like to be able to speak." And just hang on, hold on to your shirt. And when Stephen says, or I say you can speak, then go ahead, ask your question. We try to leave it at one question at a time to give people more time. And if there's a break later on, then if you have subsequent questions, then go ahead. On the iPhone, you mute and unmute yourself with the unmute button on the left-hand down corner of your phone. On the iPad, it's a little bit up and from the left into the center a little bit. On the Mac, it's Command-Shift-A to mute and unmute. And on the PC, it's Alt-A. What else have I got to do here? Anything else in terms of guidelines that I missed, Steve? Or
Yeah, I think you mentioned, I think we've covered most of that. So we can do the announcements if you like.
Okay, so go ahead and do your announcements. As Mr. iBUG guy is not here, so it's up to Stephen to keep it in order and go ahead and do the announcements.
All right, no pressure. Thank you, Marc. Yeah, I'm going to be. I'll try not to do a Michael McCulloch impression because
thank God
you can't copy the original, right?
He's an original on it to his own, and
absolutely. But we do have some exciting things coming up in iBUG, and he wanted me to make sure that I mention these. The first and foremost, you have only 11 days until May 21st to register to win an Apple Watch Series 6 for a donation of only $10 per ticket. You will be entered into the drawing for the latest Apple Watch Series 6, a $400 value. Now you can increase your chances with a donation of $50 for 6 tickets. And we'll be holding the drawing at our 10th anniversary iBUG Apple Workshop on May 22nd. That's a Saturday from 2 to 4 in the afternoon Central Time. A winner need not be present to win. You can purchase tickets via the Square Cash app, credit card, debit card, or you can use PayPal if you like. You'll find all the details on our website at ibugtoday.org. So you only have 11 days. Make sure you register for that. That's going to be a great thing, Apple Watch Series 6. All right, some events coming up this week, and all the times that I'm going to be mentioning will be Central Time. Tomorrow is our iBUG Mini Buzz, and that is from 5 to 6 p.m. Central. That is on Clubhouse. It's the mini buzz, kind of like this call is, except it's an hour, and it is on Clubhouse, of course. This Thursday, I'm really looking forward to this. It's our iBUG Vila Book Club. It's from 6:30 to 7:30. Join us to discuss and critique this month's featured reading, The Murder House by James Patterson. And the book number is DB82516. That's DB82516. It's a thriller. Let me tell you, it's good. I've been reading it because I definitely want to finish it before we get on the call Thursday. It's about 11 hours and 28 minutes. So you still have time to read it if you haven't started, but you might want to start tonight because it's in less than 3 days. And Michael will be the facilitator this month. So that is coming up this Thursday. This Friday, it's iBUG night at the virtual movies. It starts with the pre-movie social at 7:30. The movie starts at 8. And just because Michael is not here tonight doesn't mean that you get out of hearing his amazing, easy to guess clues, because he sent them to me. So I'm going to be giving those during our halftime show tonight. So make sure you stay tuned for that and find out what the movie is. Lastly, don't forget about our iBUG 10th anniversary celebration. I mentioned it a little while ago. It's Saturday, May 22nd from 2 to 4. And that is when we normally host our iBUG Apple Workshop. This month is going to be the 10-year anniversary celebration of iBUG Today. We're going to have entertainment, special guests, games, door prizes, and the long-awaited Apple Watch Series 6 drawing that I mentioned earlier. So that's what's coming up in iBUG. Now, here's some ways that you can get in touch with us. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/iBUG Today. You can follow us on Twitter at iBUG Today. Now, I hate to say this, and I'm ashamed to admit this, actually. I just realized recently, Herbie, that I wasn't following us on Twitter, but I have taken care of that, I promise. So I'm on there now. But Herbie tweets a lot of valuable information, so make sure that you follow us on Twitter. And of course, we have our website, ibugtoday.org. And you can find information on all the announcements that I just went over, our Jumpstart Mentoring Program, podcasts of all of our calls, and much, much more. That's ibugtoday.org. Mark, I think I covered everything. So
You sure
I'm going
did.
to turn it back over to you, and we can
All right.
start introductions.
Okay, this is the second most favorite. Well, it has to be the third most favorite part for me, because knowing what your questions are is number one, and knowing what the movie is number two. But
That's
this
right.
definitely comes in as number three, of knowing who's on the call. So how we do this for the newbies is, Stephen and I will introduce ourselves first, and then we'll open up the floor for people to introduce themselves, and you can do that. And then once you've done introducing yourself, then mute yourself again, please. We don't want any extenuous background noise or anything. It messes up our podcast, and the Sight and Sound people wouldn't be too happy with
That's right.
background noise. So that being said, I'm Marc Bayard-Jean Malloy, and I'm in Montreal, Quebec, which is about 8 hours north of New York, and not too far from Boston. So just to what geographical area I'm in, Eastern Time Zone. So there you go.
Okay.
So go ahead there, Steve.
I'm Stephen from Austin, and everybody, you should be able to unmute. If not, we can. All right, let me go ahead and mute everybody again, Mark.
Okay.
And then unmute. I think that we'll be able to do it. Here we go.
Hello,
Okay,
Chanel.
there we are. Chanel.
I'm sorry, Chanel in Houston.
This is Shelby in Baytown.
Hey,
This
Shelby.
is Herbie in Houston. Stephen, I'm glad you're following the iBug Twitter. I followed you back, and it's so cool. I now know your middle name.
Yes, you do.
My name is Michelle Jenkins from Albany, Georgia, 25 years old.
Okay, Mark, I think you need to unmute. I think you're muted.
Oh, currently unmuted.
Here we go.
There you go. Go ahead.
And I'm Armando from Northern California.
Okay, welcome aboard, Armando.
This is Isaac in Temple, Texas.
Welcome.
This is Jim from North Carolina.
Welcome, Jim. Go on, carry on.
Dana
This is
from Cincinnati.
Ann from St. Louis, Missouri. It's great to be here tonight.
And who was before Ann?
Donna has joined the meeting.
Dana.
Okay, Mr. Dana. Okay.
Mr. Dana, that's right.
That's all right. We want to get it right.
This is Matt from Kyle, Texas.
Welcome.
This is Dan from Southern California.
Welcome, Dan.
Keith in Austin.
Yes, sir. Welcome aboard.
And
This
I
is
don't know if
Joe.
she's by her phone, but I want to acknowledge Anna from Southern California.
This is Joe from Oklahoma.
Welcome, Joe.
Roy from Fort Worth.
Hi, Roy. Anybody
This
else?
is Andrew from France.
Welcome.
And
Jim
this is Anna from Southern California.
There's Anna from Southern California. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
This is Jim from PA.
Welcome, Jim.
Freddie from Galveston County.
And welcome, Freddie. Good to see you.
This is Carrie from Fort Worth.
Hi, Carrie. Go ahead.
This is Gail from Houston.
Hi, Gail.
Hi.
Next. Going once.
This is Sri from Virginia.
Hey, Shri.
This is
Welcome
Heidi from
aboard.
California.
Okay, I didn't.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
We had somebody from
welcome to-
California. Who was from
Yeah, we
California?
didn't hear.
Heidi.
Heidi. Okay.
Okay, anybody else?
Xavier, Atlanta, Georgia.
Welcome.
I'm from Wichita, Kansas.
Welcome from Kansas. Anybody else? Going once. Going twice. So, okay, now I was trying to hear the names and didn't keep track of who the newbies were. I know we have a few from California. Stephen, did you keep?
Yeah, we have Anna from Southern California. Anna, if you could unmute yourself and just tell us how you found out about iBUG. I think I already know the answer, but what iOS devices do you use?
Well, I use an iPhone, an iPad, and currently I'm going to be using some AirPods Pro. And I found out about the iBUG from Armando and Herbie.
All right.
And also, if I may interject this, Armando, if I may interject, she also has an Apple Watch. So hopefully, you know, you guys can give her hopefully some Apple Watch questions may come up and you guys can give us some helpful tips on managing ways to use your Apple Watch more efficiently.
Okay.
Terry Ann
Anyway,
Sorman has joined the meeting.
anybody else new, Stephen, that you noticed?
I didn't. Let's see. I'm trying to go back through here. I can't think of anyone. But is there?
I
any
guess
new
you could
callers
classify
that-
me as a returning because
Well,
I've been with
yeah.
iBUG for about, I've actually heard about iBUG, but I took a 1.5 year break up until Anna came. This is Armando, by the way, from California. So how I found out was back in 2017, I joined iBUG with Herbie, and of course they invited me. And then in 2018, I actually met our fearless leader, Mike, in person. And I also met Gail. Yeah, it was Mike and Gail and several others I met up in Nevada for the Ski for Light event. And I know they had a big deal going on and they took me under their wing and I was able to be a part of their celebration, if you must, for their iBUG stuff.
Very good. Well, refresh our memory. What iOS devices do you use?
Quite a few, actually. I have an Apple Watch SE. Actually, Anna and I both have Apple Watches SE because we order them around the same time. I have an iPhone 12 regular, and I have an iPad 7. My mom has an iPad Mini 4. My stepdad has an iPhone 10R, and my mom has an iPhone 11. So pretty much my whole family here in the household is nothing but iPhones.
That's very cool, actually. That is very cool. Okay, anybody else new?
Yes, Heidi from California. This is
Hi,
my
welcome
first call.
aboard. And
Thank you.
what devices do you have?
I just have an iPhone SE 2020.
Okay, and how did you hear about this gang?
I heard it from an interview that aired on Blind Abilities podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was very well done by Jeff and Pete, actually. Okay, anybody else new?
Yes, Xavier.
Okay, what was the name, sorry?
Xavier.
Xavier. Okay, welcome aboard. And where are you from? And how did you hear about us?
I'm from Atlanta. I heard on one of the support groups in Georgia.
Okay. And what devices do you use?
I use an iPhone 11.
Okay, well, welcome aboard and hope to see you more times after
Yep.
tonight.
Okay.
Anybody else? New. Okay, well, that being said, everybody mute yourselves and we'll get on with the questions, and hopefully everybody on stage that's helping out here will, sorry, I'm thinking Clubhouse, sorry. Oh, I've been too much on Clubhouse. Oh my God. And I'll be there
Yeah,
tomorrow
we
night.
know what you do most of the time now, Mark.
Yeah. It's the truth has been revealed. All right, let's get this thing moving. Who wants to be the first question?
I will, Armando.
Armando, go ahead.
I will take it. Yes. So listen, I mean, not to put her on blast, I like her. She's awesome, but I was helping Anna out with pairing her AirPods Pro, and maybe somebody can direct me in this, but we were trying for the longest time to pair her AirPods Pro that she received in the mail today. She put them on the charger, she charged them, and I walked her through the steps of pairing them, but when she goes to basically use them, she hears nothing. She doesn't hear any voiceover. All she hears is the little chime sound or the little bong bong sound type thing to connect, and then it disconnects. And we've unpaired them, repaired them. What am I missing, or what is the culprit of such plague? Because she's so excited, she wants to enjoy her AirPods Pro, but it's given her that issue to where she cannot connect.
Who's got the answer to the question?
This is Keith.
Go ahead, Keith.
I have a question. Have you gone into Bluetooth settings and see that they are not connected?
Yes, she has. I was actually on the phone when we did this.
So they're not connected at all, or they
No.
have never been connected. Okay.
No, and I've had her went as far as to remove the device, hit the little button that's behind the case. We've held it down for about 10 seconds or until the phone said or recognized it, and then repaired them again, and to no avail. And mind you, she's got her phone updated to the latest because we both update our phones religiously. So she's got her phones updated to the iOS 14.5, whatever it is, 0.1.
This is Elisa.
Go ahead.
Is her Bluetooth turned on? Because I think
Yes.
the Bluetooth has to be turned on in order for you to pair them.
Yes.
Well, that's strange because it should automatically pair.
This is Herbie.
Go ahead,
Yes,
Herbie.
Two things. One has had tried resetting. Have her try resetting the Bluetooth. Maybe that might, like, turning it off and turning it back on. That might
Which
help.
we did.
Also, when you say there's not connected, like if you double tap on them where they say not connected, does that, have you tried, like, where they show up in the Bluetooth thing and it'll say like AirPods Pro not connected? Have you tried just double tapping that button to see what it does?
It does not connect.
And so you've tried things like, I'm assuming, like putting them back in the case, closing it, opening it back
Closing
up.
it, and then unpairing, repairing, holding the button,
Unpairing.
opening the case. Yes. And all she said she hears is a little like the hissing, which is from the noise transparency.
Right.
Chanel,
Go ahead, Chanel.
have you tried pressing the button on the back of the case to kind of
Yeah.
reset them?
Yes.
Okay. Shoot.
This is Shri.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Shri.
All right.
No, you're not supposed to give him permission. I am. So don't go ahead. Like, I'll acknowledge Shri, or Stephen will acknowledge Chanel.
Okay. So first question, has she ever paired anything Bluetooth on that phone?
Quite a few devices.
And is she currently connected to a Bluetooth device while she was trying to connect to the
The only thing I know she's connected to at the moment was her Apple Watch.
Okay, but no other keyboard.
This
anything
is
like-
Herbie.
Hey,
None.
Herbie.
It just occurred to me when Anna, when you wore the headphones, did you try doing anything with your Apple Watch? Because it occurred to me that they could be pairing, but not to the phone, but to the watch.
No, I didn't mess with anything that
Because
had
I'd
to
be
do with the
curious to see if the Apple Watch comes through the headphones instead of the phone. Because it all connects through the cloud, and it just occurred to me that the watch can also pair with the AirPods, and I wonder if it's trying to pair with the watch, not the phone.
Anybody got any suggestion? Because we've been along this question for a bit and we have to move on. So the only thing I can suggest is that you give Apple Accessibility a call and they might
This
be
is
able to
Keith.
suggest something. Go ahead, Keith.
One last question I was trying to get in. So you said you are unpairing the AirPods. So are they actually pairing at one point, or do they ever pair up?
They pair up, but then when she tries to put them in her ear, she hears a little. How do I explain it? Like the bong sound type thing, the bong bong sound connecting, and then it just disconnects type of bong.
And like Herbie was asking, in the list under Bluetooth settings, do they list as connected, or
They show up as connected and then not connected.
one thing I would try, and when they are connected, if it is paired and they're connected, just put your finger on the screen and volume up at the same time, and maybe or I guess, is anything coming through the AirPods, or they're just nothing at all? No voiceover, no music.
No, just the hissing
nothing?
sound.
Just the hissing sound. Yeah.
Oh wow.
This is Chanel with another
Okay, go ahead,
thought.
Chanel.
Sometimes, like, whenever you connect or disconnect Bluetooth, you have to change the audio destination in the voiceover rotor. So I was just curious, and that's kind of hard to do, I know, when you can't hear voiceover. So if you do the rotor gesture, like to the left, or, and then swipe a finger down or up, that should toggle it. Another thing I was thinking of, though, is you could try, like, get a song queued up somewhere before you try to reconnect the AirPods, and then reconnect, and then like do a 2-finger double tap to start the music to see if you hear the music at all, because it's important to determine if you can't hear voiceover, or if you just can't hear anything from them. It sounds like you can't hear anything from them, but it'd be an interesting test to do, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, thanks, Chanel.
Okay.
Sorry we couldn't help you further, but we really do have to move along with other people's questions.
It's Shelby with a new topic.
Sorry, you're way off mic, so it's hard for me to hear.
This is Shelby with a new topic.
Okay, go ahead, Shelby.
Okay, so last week, can y'all hear me okay or no?
Yeah,
Am I
you're
too
good.
far away from the mic?
You're pretty good. Maybe a little closer, but we can hear you okay.
Yeah, because
Hang on a
I'm hard of hearing, Shelby, and the echo is
Hang on a
really bad.
second. Hang on. I'll be right back.
Yeah, while we're waiting, why don't we go ahead and take another question and we'll come back to Shelby.
Okay, all right. Who wants to be?
Okay, I'm right here. Can y'all hear me now?
Okay, that's much better, Shelby.
Okay. So last week, it's
Oh,
Shelby again.
Sorry.
Last week, there was a question that I had brought up, a question about podcasts and whether or not if you delete them from your library on your computer, they would actually unsubscribe. And it actually will unsubscribe if you, let's say you want to delete a podcast from one device, delete it from all your devices, and it will unsubscribe from your podcasts.
Anybody have a suggestion or answer to that? I know I use Downcast myself, and I only have the one device, so I don't have to worry.
This is Stephen, just with a clarification. So Shelby, you're talking about the actual iPod, the native iPod app, right? I think you're.
Yeah, it's Shelby. Yeah, because last week I brought up a question if I could, to leave for space, it's in storage, saving storage, if I could just delete the podcast from the library and just new episodes would come up on my library. So I did an experiment because no one last week had a quick answer for me. So I decided to go on experimenting. And the conclusion of the experiment was, yes, it actually does unsubscribe the podcast if you delete them from your library.
Perfect.
Okay, anybody have comments or anything about that?
That's
Okay,
good to know. Yeah, that's
let's
good to know.
move. Let's move then. Who's
Okay.
next with a question?
Elisa?
Lisa, hi, go ahead.
Hi. So, if you can hear me okay, because I know you can't hardly hear sometimes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine. You're coming
Okay.
through loud and clear.
So, did y'all notice that the Facebook app says more options or more whenever you do a friends or post? Like it'll do it more. It'll say more option with new update.
Okay, anybody have comments?
Steven, I think,
questions?
have you noticed that one, Steven?
This is Steven.
Go ahead,
Yes,
Stephen.
Yes, I have noticed that. I know most of the time before that, it usually says more when you're in a friend's post. So I think it's the same thing, but it's just saying more options now. It's the wording is different on the update. But yes, I have noticed that.
I have noticed it as well. When I see more, I only notice it, when it says more, and sometimes there's a reminder there about something I posted 3 years ago. Do I want to repost it or whatever? And that's where I've noticed the more. I haven't noticed it much on other people's posts, but maybe it's there, but I haven't really paid attention to it. Anybody else have any comments about that?
This is
Okay, go ahead, Boo. Sorry,
this is Shri.
Shri, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to. It's not directly about this particular comment with Facebook, but I mean, with this question regarding Facebook. But one other thing that I wanted to mention that I saw on Facebook is they send us a splash screen stating that they would recommend that we turn off the tracking. Otherwise, they would have to start charging people for Facebook. I think personally, I think it's a scare tactic.
I think so too. Yeah.
But I want to know that don't let, because they said to turn the tracker.
It's Shelby.
It's off. I wouldn't.
Hang on, Shelby.
It's a scam. When Facebook does, when they send you stuff like that, when random people they say they're from Facebook and they send you stuff like that, 98%, 99% of the time, it's a scam. Just ignore it.
Okay, Keith, go ahead.
Yeah, it's Pete, actually.
It's Pete.
Sorry.
Hey, Mark.
Hey,
everybody.
Pete, sorry.
It's actually not a scam, but it's like Sri said, it is Facebook, but they're pissed off. They're angry, sorry for the language, at Apple, because Apple has required that they get the permission of users to continue with their tracking, location tracking and ad tracking and all of that. So Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg are very angry with Apple. So this is their attempt, as I think Sri was implying, to get us to kind of shiver in our boots and say, oh, okay, I'm going to turn off tracking, because Facebook wants to track our ad. When we see an ad and we tap on it and we do all of that, that's how they get their directed advertisements and things like that. So like Sri says, I wouldn't fall for it. And I saw an article that 90%, I think, or 80 or 85% of users have not agreed to continue with the Facebook being allowed to track our usage. So it's a big deal. It's a fight between Apple and Facebook.
I know for me, I don't have a problem with Apple tracking, but I just have there's a reasonable doubt in my mind about Facebook doing it. That's just my feeling. So yeah, I don't allow Facebook to do it.
This is Armando.
Go ahead, Armando.
Since we're talking about Facebook and tracking and everything, or an Apple, would you guys, or is it fair to say, is Apple doing it because, or are these people tracking because they think they can do it, or is it because of the money? Or I mean, what's your guys' perception in
This is
regards to all this?
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
I mean, if you look at Facebook's revenue, it's based on these ads. And for them, this is a big showstopper for them from people that are using iOS device, like Pete said. I think it was around 85% or 90%. It was very, very high percentage of people who have iPhone who do not want these things to be tracked. And so for Facebook, this is it's a revenue crunch for them. I think you're going to see it both on Facebook. You're probably going to see it on Instagram, that they're going to try and push you to turn this thing, to turn it on. And I'm just suggesting, keep it off. If you don't like to be tracked, keep it off.
This is Roy.
Hey, Roy.
I just wanted to make sure, Sri, if you want to make sure that they're not tracking you, that's done settings to privacy.
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
I do want to let you guys know, apparently there is a bug, and it's not reported to all devices that are running 14.5.1. Some devices, that particular feature where you turn it on and off, it's being grayed out. It was supposed to be fixed with 14.5.1, but I'm reading articles that there's some devices that are still being grayed out. And I think 14.6, for those people that are using beta, they're reporting that issue has been fixed. But basically, it's an on-off switch. It's under where you just said, Roy. It's there. There is a privacy tracking section that you just double tap, and you can turn it on or off. You can do it globally, or you can go individually to particular apps. I just turn it completely off. I don't want people to see what I'm doing with my phone. It's my personal activity, but to everyone, it's your choice. But I'm just letting you know, don't be pressured in by Facebook or Instagram to tell you need to leave it on.
Hey, anybody else have a comment before we move along?
This is Herbie.
Hey, Herbie, go ahead.
So I have actually left mine on. I gave Facebook permission to track two reasons. One, it could be it could be a legitimate pressure, and at the end of the day, as much as I love Facebook, I would not want to. I don't think I'd ever want to pay for it. But to be perfectly honest, I don't have a problem with ad tracking myself. Okay, so you want to give me targeted ads? Well, that could actually be useful to me. I'd rather see advertising over things I'm potentially interested in. And half the time I skip over the ads anyway or whatever. But Facebook has done a lot of targeted pages that I've ended up liking over different restaurants and stuff that maybe it's figured out either I'd be interested in or it sees common friends. I don't know how it does its algorithms, but it's like, okay, unless you prove to me that you're actually truly using the data against me, it is how you guys make your money, whether we like it or not. So, and it's what you've been doing for years, and it hasn't affected me. So, it really doesn't bother me personally. So I've actually left it on. If it proves that.
Doesn't bother me either, Herbie.
If it proves that they are actually using it against us in any way, then I would have a change of heart. But they have to make money somehow, and I personally don't feel like paying them. So, I feel it's a fair trade-off.
Herbie, I think there's a.
Okay, hold on just one second, Pete.
Hang on. You have to wait to be acknowledged, Pete.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Go ahead then, Pete. Are you done, Herbie?
I just want
I'm
to
done.
respond to Herbie. I think the assumption is, Herbie, that you're going to get inundated with ads more and more and more than you have in the past. But I may be wrong. I thought that was one of the assumptions in the yes or no.
The tab key works really well, or whatever. By the way I look at it, or in other cases the delete key where you're somewhere else. So I don't let it bother me. Okay.
This is great.
Okay, Shri, one more comment, and then we're going to move on.
I'm just saying, the benefit now that Apple's giving you a choice. That's whether you want to do it or not. You have a choice now. Before you didn't have the choice. It was there. They were taking the information without you having any say. Now you have a say. So some people like Herbie, that's perfectly fine. But I'm just saying, because they say you have to turn it on, otherwise we're going to charge you. I think that's a scare tactic.
No, you don't have to turn it on. If you're uncomfortable with it, don't turn it on. And if it doesn't make a difference to you like me, turn it on. That's the way I look at it. Okay, let's move along because there's other people with other questions who may have to be doing things in other places. We want to get into as many as we can before the halfway point. So who's next?
This is Freddie.
Freddie, go ahead.
Okay, I had a comment about my phone. I have a iPhone SE, and lately I have noticed when I'm in messages and I ask Siri to send a message to someone, I can go ahead and give the message, but it doesn't read. It kind of cuts off right there. It doesn't read the message back to me, and it doesn't give me a chance to say send the message. It just cuts off right there before that.
This is
Anybody have a
Jim.
comment? Okay, Jim, go ahead.
I had the same thing that happened to me that he's talking about. And I did a hard boot and it went back to working. Not just an off, but a hard boot.
Interesting. Okay.
But I mean, I can swipe, to swipe to the left and, and send it, and go ahead and send it.
No,
but
that's what you were saying. It wouldn't read it back to you.
Right. It wouldn't read it back to me.
Yeah,
That's
exactly what I said. That's what my phone was doing. It had never done it before. And Apple Accessibility told me to do a hard boot. I did a system shutdown and that didn't fix it. But when I did the hard boot, it fixed it.
Okay. So there is. Go ahead. Who wanted to speak?
This is Shree.
Go ahead, Shree.
I was just going to explain what the hard reboot is. It's a volume up, volume down, and then holding the power button.
Okay.
And this is Jim.
Go ahead,
I
Jim.
tried that about 8 times before I got it to work, but it worked. That's not an easy thing to do, actually.
This is Stephen.
Stephen, go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. What you have to do is do the volume up, volume down rapidly, and then hold the side button down, and then you have to keep it down. I'd say at least
I do it for
20
about
seconds.
10. Yeah, I do it for about 12, and it generally works.
So you have to do it rapidly, both kind of not quite together, but it's just very quickly, one and then the other.
And the reason you'll know when you do it rapidly, volume up, volume down, and hold down the side button is it'll say power off, but keep holding down the button.
Right.
And then after about 12 seconds, it'll reset. And if you've got headphones on, sometimes you'll hear the little click when it goes to reboot. If you're paying attention, and if not, give it about 12 to 15 seconds, no more than that, and then it'll reboot and your phone will start up again. I do that generally once a week anyway, as a matter of routine. And next, who wants to ask a question?
Dana.
Dana, go ahead.
Yep. I have a problem with my phone. With the volume settings, I go into settings and I set it to say 100%, and then maybe let's say a few days later it'll be down to like 7%. And if I get a text or email or something, I won't hear the notification, and I'll have no idea how that happens.
Who's got an answer for Mr. Dana? I suspect I have a solution, but I will let other people deal with it. Okay, Keith, go ahead.
Pete.
Okay, Pete.
Thank you, Mark. You're talking about your ringers and your ringtones and things like that? Yeah, you go into settings, go down to sounds and haptics. There's a button in there that says control ringer volume with volume buttons or something to that effect. And that you can turn on or off. It's a toggle on or off. So what you're probably doing is you have that on So whenever you hit a side volume down, 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 then that ringer volume goes down with it and it'll stay there until you turn it back up. So that might be it. Yeah, I would turn that off. And that way, if you set it at 100%, which is really loud,
Right. Yeah.
I have
yeah.
mine at like 70, yeah, but 75, 80, somewhere in there might work. And then flick around in there and you'll see the one that says adjust with volume with side buttons, and turn that one to the off position. That might do it for you.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
That's what I've done, Pete, and it works for me. I've got the button, so the button doesn't control those volumes, and that really clears up the problem. And then you can do what you want with them after that and set them. You can also set up your sounds like for voiceover and stuff in the rotor if you want to do it that way, and that works really well too. So thanks, Pete, for that. And let's go to somebody else for another question. Anybody got a question?
This is Carrie in Fort Worth.
Hi there, Carrie, go
Hi.
ahead.
Yes, I've noticed since I've updated my phone that when I ask Siri to call people, it's actually pulling two numbers. It's pulling their current number and it's actually pulling their old number, which I thought was deleted from my contact list. And I had a sighted person verify that that information is not listed in the contacts. And I was wondering if anybody else was having an issue with Siri pulling old information.
This is Shriek.
Go ahead, Shriek.
Yeah, what I suspect is you have somewhere in your phone, whether in your email or iMessage or somewhere there is this particular number there. So when you actually search for it, it's going to pull up from your contacts as well as probably from your mail that had the person's number. It's probably searching for that, and that's why it's telling you there's two numbers.
This is Keith.
Go ahead, Keith.
I would say that is probably correct. You'll notice if you start typing in a 2 in the email or even starting a new message, when you swipe right, it will go through your contacts, but then under that, it'll say something to the effect of found such and such in the email. So it's probably pulling numbers from anywhere and everywhere where you've had that old phone number before.
Is there, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Is there any way to delete that then?
This is Shriek.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Shriek.
Go ahead, Shriek.
No, go ahead, Keith.
You cut out
I
there.
was just going to say, I have a feeling right now, no, because I think it's trying to populate these lists with anything and everything it can, and I do not know of a toggle off. I will definitely look for one now.
Thank you.
This is Shriek.
Go ahead, Shriek.
I was going to say, if you can try, and I highly suspect it's probably in one of your emails. You might want to search, and you might be able to, if you can delete the email, then it may not find it, because that's probably what it's doing. Is Siri is finding it somewhere and telling you, hey, this person's number is also here somewhere.
This is
And
Brad.
Yeah, like if you have an old email address for somebody with an old phone number associated to it and haven't deleted that email, even if it's, even if it doesn't come up as the first one in your email for that person, I believe you have to find that one and slide up on it and delete that actual email address and any irrelevant, if it's associated to an old email. If it's not, then there's got to be another way to find it.
Okay, well, thank you all for the suggestions.
This is Pete.
Go ahead,
Actually,
Pete.
Brad actually had chimed in
I'm sorry.
beforehand.
Go ahead, Brad.
Hey, just to follow up on what Keith said, when you start to type in like a text message or an email and a list of different things from your contacts, or further on down the list, you'll see found an email, or just lists of all kinds of stuff. I have found that sometimes, not always, you can navigate through that list and you can flick up, like, actions, and it may say delete from whatever it wants to call it, delete from list, delete from previous, whatever. And then, of course, you get a dialogue. Do you want to delete this from your previous recipients or something to that nature, and you can sometimes clear out some of that old stuff. Not all of them, because if it's like in an email, Siri may be pulling it from there. But if it's an old phone number or email address that you've used once before and it's in the history, you may be able to clear it that way.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Brad. Okay, anybody have a new question?
Yes, hi,
I
this is
do.
Hal. Good evening.
Okay, Hal, go ahead.
Yes, okay. Several weeks ago, I got a new iPhone 12 mini. How do I shut down apart from going to shut down the long way? Like, is there a button you hold down for several seconds and then it goes power off?
Pete,
Go ahead, Keith.
Pete.
It's actually
Oh.
Pete.
Okay, Pete. Okay.
I'm gonna start calling you
Yeah, I
a
know.
different name.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people been wanting to call me something else for years. So go ahead anytime you
I'm
want,
sorry, I
buddy.
didn't mean to dominate the answers here, but I heard iPhone 12 mini, which I just got too, and I didn't know this either. You hit the side button, the power button, which is on the top right side, and the down volume button simultaneously. Just press those together, and then you'll hear an alert that makes you think they're going to call 911. But if you flick around, you have plenty of time. You just find a slide to power off, and you do a single finger double tap. That'll shut it off.
Oh, okay.
So they've gone back to the old way, Pete. I
don't know. I came up from an iPhone 8, which was
the
old way.
Yeah,
so-
that's right. Yeah.
But I
So
had to
you-
actually Google
You
this.
hold down the button on the side. Okay, there's two buttons on the side. There's two buttons you hold down.
Yeah, there's two buttons on the upper left-hand edge. There's two buttons, which are the volume up and the volume down arrow. You
Okay.
hold the volume down arrow along with the one on the opposite side, which is your power button.
Oh,
Push
got it.
those in
Okay.
together. Yeah. It's just like
Okay.
squeezing them together, and then you'll hear some prompts, and then flick around and you'll find slide to power off. Just do a single finger double tap.
This is
Cool
Terry.
beans. Okay, cool. Okay, I'll give that a shot then. Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else have a comment?
This is Terry.
Okay, I'm not hearing the
Yeah,
name.
Terry was first.
Okay. Terry, go ahead.
If you, because that same set of keystrokes can also, if you're not careful, call 911. You can turn off that ability for it to dial 911 if you don't want that emergency, or I'm saying 911 or whatever your emergency code is. You can turn that off too if you don't want to accidentally activate that.
Okay, thanks, Terry.
This is Sri.
Sri, go
Actually,
ahead.
I want to. I think Isaac had chimed
Okay.
in earlier.
Isaac, go ahead, and then Sri.
Thought it was Isaac.
Isaac,
Maybe
you're
I
up.
was mistaken.
It was Jose.
Oh, it was Jose. I'm sorry, Jose. Go ahead.
Thank you. I have a question.
Hang on, we're not done with this one, Jose.
Okay,
Hold
I'll
on.
wait.
Yeah.
Hang on. Sri wanted to say something, and then
Yeah.
if there's nothing else, we'll move on to Jose's new question.
I just wanted clarification. Is it volume up or is it volume down? Because usually I thought it was side button and volume up button at the same time and you hold it.
Pete?
No,
Go
it's
ahead.
volume down for sure.
So then it's different on the SC versus.
This is Brad. I think you can do either one.
I haven't tried the up, but it works with the down. So, and I don't know the SC.
Okay, did you want to say something? And then somebody else went to Jose after that.
I was just trying to make sure that I've never done it with volume down. That's why I was just checking.
Okay, Jose, go
That's
ahead.
interesting.
I was wondering, has this ever happened to you guys whenever you're checking email and you're flicking left to right with your finger? You're reading your emails, and then for some reason, when you're going down the list of your emails, you open up the email and then you go back. No, okay, I'm sorry. Let me start over with the question. I'm not making any sense to myself. Okay, I don't know if it's happened to you guys where you're reading your email and you're deleting your emails as if you're saying, okay, I don't want this email. You delete them. After you delete them, it's like my voiceover gets off focus and it stops talking. And I have to put my finger back on an email for it to start reading them again, because if not, it's just quiet, like it's in no man's land. And I have to put my finger back on the next email that was the next one. So I don't know if that's ever happened to you guys, and if you did anything to fix that issue.
Have you got the latest iOS there, Jose?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Anybody have a question or comment or suggestion?
This is Brad.
Okay, go ahead, Freddie.
We've all heard this
Or Brad,
before.
sorry.
That's okay. We've always heard this before, but sometimes cycling voiceover off and then back on again will clear some quirky behavior. And it could be it. It's also just sometimes when you know, an item that voiceover is focused on, when you delete it and that item suddenly isn't there anymore, voiceover doesn't always automatically pick up focus on something else too. I can't say that I've experienced this exact behavior myself, but I have experienced a number of quirky behaviors. And like I said, toggling voiceover on and off seems to clear some of this stuff.
This is
Okay.
Karen.
Okay, go ahead, Carrie. Or was
Yeah,
it Karen?
that has happened to me. Karen, yes, that has happened
go
to me,
ahead.
not necessarily in email, but just anywhere. I could be anywhere on the phone and the voiceover will just literally just go out. And it's just, I maybe just press the lock button a couple times. I don't have the password on it, so I could do that, or I'll just press the up and down arrow a few times, or I still have the home button. Or I'll just press that. I'll just do something quickly, because it's usually like right when I'm in the middle of doing something, it can just go out. And I do have the latest update, and it happens maybe at least twice a week. And I thought after the last update it would stop, but it hasn't stopped. So I guess they haven't addressed that yet.
It's annoying because I'll be going
Yeah.
down my emails, cleaning out my emails, deleting, and then after I delete an email, it's just quiet. And then I'll put my finger back on the email list and I'll be on another email, which I didn't want to be on, but okay.
Yeah, mine
Thanks,
happens
Shelby.
anywhere, not just in emails. It happens anywhere on the phone. It happens, and it's like real frustrating, because sometimes it happens when I'm trying to like put in the password or something. Like you get on the Zoom meeting or something, and like you're doing, like when you call into Zoom, when you're calling in, and you have to put in like the password or something. So it's frustrating.
This
Thanks,
is Shri.
Karen. Go. I think Shelby wanted to say something, and then Shri.
Yeah, this is Shelby. So I've noticed similar with voiceover when I'm dictating, it'll stop and start, stop and start, and stop and start. So it's like it'll kind of cut off every other word and start talking in the middle of a word when I'm typing, because I do my writing via dictation. So I don't know. You could just turn it off and turn it back on. It is annoying, and I have the latest update and it still does it.
Okay, thanks, Shelby. Any other comments before we move along? We probably
This is
got time for 2 more questions, probably, maybe 3.
This is Shri.
Okay, go ahead, Shri.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if and I've done this a few times, if you have a voiceover issue and it doesn't go away with some of the suggestions that we presented, what I've had to do is I've had to do a system reset. And it's a little bit of an intrusive. It's not a complete system phone reset, but it's a system reset. And basically that fixes some of the glitches of voiceover. And I've had to do that, a couple times. It's basically when you go to settings, general, and you flick down to reset, it's the first option. And if you do a system reset, you are going to have to go back and reset. If you have any custom voiceover, you're going to have to set up your Wi-Fi. You're probably going to have to set up your Apple Pay, but it does fix some of the glitches that voiceover presents occasionally.
This is Pete.
Go ahead, Pete.
Good suggestion, Sri, and I've had to do that on occasion. I would use that as a last or second to last resort. What I have found, just powering off the phone, which is going back to the other question about however you power off your phone. In the 12 series, you do the down the volume button plus the power button, and then just shut it down and then give it 10, 20 seconds, come on back in. And that seems to cure a lot of the ills. I'm finding a lot of quirks in Facebook. I didn't want to go back to Facebook, but sometimes my text field will not allow me to put the insertion point in there. Sometimes dictation will get funky like you're describing. It'll just, you get the second bell within like 3 seconds. You know, you do your 2-finger tap and start your dictation, and you're on the third word of your dictation, and you'll hear the bell stop you, and then voiceover silent. So that tells me it's time to shut down my phone. And more often than not, that seems to resolve it. But if not, then I would go to Sri's option and go into settings general and go to system reset. Thanks, Mark.
Pete. Thanks, Pete. Okay, I'll go. Anybody with another question?
Yeah, we got about 5 minutes, Mark.
We
So we
do.
may have time for a couple more here.
Yeah.
This is
Jim.
Okay, Jim. And
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
guess this is an iPhone question. I have an iPhone 11, and I went on a Zoom meeting, and then I went to participants and found my name, which was iPhone, and my wife typed in my name out beside an iPhone. Does that change it from here on out when I get on the call? My name is not iPhone.
This is Shelby.
Yes.
Go ahead, Shelby.
Okay. So yeah. So what I would, you go to your Zoom account settings and go to where it says your name and your display name. You can erase the name iPhone, erase that, and then put in your name, your first and last name.
This is
So you
Keith.
go to your Zoom settings, go to your account where it says your email address that you signed up with, tap that and go to where it says display name. And you can change your display name, and that's the name that shows up when you join a meeting.
Thanks, Shelby. Go ahead, Keith.
Answer to your question, Jim. No, that just temporarily changes your name for that call only, and you would have to go to your account settings like she was mentioning to actually change it permanently.
Well, that's what I thought, but somebody told me to do that, and I did it tonight, but I don't know what it's showing up as. But anyway, when you say my account, does that mean I've got to go to zoom.com or something and set up an account?
This is
It's Shelby. And
Go ahead, Shelby.
Okay, so Jim, what you do is you can go into the app. You can go through your app, go to go just kind of explore your app and go to where it says your account, like your settings in your Zoom app, and it should be the first one, your account settings, and then go to where it says your display name, and then it'll say, and then go to erase what you have, and then put in your, because right now it shows up as iPhone Jim, all one word.
Okay, so I don't have to. I just go to the. I just open the Zoom app. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And go to settings. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank
This
you.
is Brad.
Thanks. Okay, go ahead, Brad.
Jim, it sounds to me like you have not set up a Zoom account. And therefore, every time you open that Zoom app, it's been a long time since I've used it without a Zoom account, it pulls your name from the name in your iPhone. And what Shelby's recommending you do only works if you have a Zoom account. But
That's
you
what I
can
was
set your
thinking.
name every time, like your wife told you to do. But every time you close that Zoom app and go back,
Yeah.
it's going to go back to its default name, which is pulling your name from the about part under general of your iPhone. And the name of your iPhone is iPhone.
No,
You
I
could
changed
change it
that
to Jim's iPhone, and
I
then it'll
changed
pull
it.
Jim's iPhone.
I changed it to Jim Turner. I changed that to my name under general and about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
And it's
changed-
still
I
showing
put-
as iPhone, huh?
Yes.
This is Shree.
Well,
Go
my
ahead, Shree.
recommendation would be go to zoom.us and create a free account. And then when you sign in, the name you set up on that account will be the name that shows up on any iPhone any device, iPhone, desktop, anything you sign in on, that'll be your name.
Okay, Shree, one last comment, and then we're at halftime. So go ahead, Shree.
So just a basic question. Do you have or do you know if there's the Zoom app on your iOS device?
Yes, it is. I've opened the app.
Okay, so if you have the app, then exactly just like they said, just go, flick right till you get the settings. Like she explained, then it's there. Then if you have the app, that's all I want to know, if you have the app. And if you do, just like the direction that was given before is fine.
Go to settings and then change the name from iPhone, or just add my name or whatever.
No, when you get to settings, you're gonna have to double tap to open settings.
Yes.
And then you flick right. When you flick right, it's gonna probably, whatever Zoom account name you created is gonna be there. And you're gonna flick right. I believe the next one is the name. And you're gonna have to go and change that and then save it. And then moving forward, that should be what's displayed.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This is Keith.
Okay, go ahead, Keith, and then we have to do the
And
halftime stuff.
make sure that you open up Zoom without hitting the link into a call. You have to do it before you get on an actual call.
No, I just tap on the app. Right.
Right. But just do it prior to tapping on to the iBUG link or anything like that. You want to go into Zoom without being on the actual call.
Yeah, I'm just going to go into the app on my phone.
Yeah,
yes.
that's
Got it. All right. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Keith. We're at the halfway point, a little bit beyond it. So I'm going to turn things back over to Stephen, who is going to review the announcement and get on with the other stuff. And we're going to find out what the movie's all about. Yay! Okay, go ahead, Steve. All right.
Thank you, Mark. Great job.
You're quite welcome.
Great questions. Wow, some great discussion. And yes, we will do some very quick announcements and get to the movie clues, because I know everybody is just itching to find out what clues Michael has written. Yeah, a little disclaimer. I did not write these clues. So any complaints, comments, direct them to Michael McCulloch at ibugtoday@gmail.com. But before we do that, let's give people a chance who didn't get a chance to introduce themselves when we started the call, who came in later. If you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself now, go ahead and do so. Anybody?
Hey, this is Brad. I'm in Dallas.
Hey, Brad.
Linda from Mumble.
Hi, Linda. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Terry from Arlington Heights, Illinois.
Hey, Terry.
This is David from Houston.
Hi there, David.
Pete
Jose
from Florida.
Houston.
Jose, and who was from Florida?
Pete.
Pete. Okay, Pete.
This is Dee from Southern Illinois.
Hello, Dee.
Hello.
Hi, guys. It's Judy from Connecticut.
Hi, Judy. Welcome.
Hello.
Anybody else that joined us later want to introduce themselves? All right. Well, let's get to some quick announcements before we get to the movie clues. First and foremost, you only have 11 days to register to win that Apple Watch Series 6. It's only $10 per ticket or $50 for 6 tickets. And you can go to ibugtoday.org and find out how to do that. And we're going to hold the drawing on the 22nd on our 10th anniversary celebration, which is normally our Apple workshop. But you have till the 21st to get those entries in. So make sure you do that. 11 days for that. Just some events coming up this week. Don't forget, tomorrow is our iBUG Mini Buzz, and that is on Clubhouse from 5 to 6 p.m. Central. And this Thursday, the iBUG Vila Book Club from 6:30 to 7:30. You can discuss and critique the book The Murder House by James Patterson, DB 82516. It is about 11 hours, 28 minutes. So if you haven't started, tonight may be the night you want to get on that. And let's see. Lastly, don't forget about the 10th anniversary celebration for iBUG. As I mentioned, it's May 22nd from 2 to 4. And we normally host our Apple workshop. But this month, it's going to be a celebration of 10 years of iBUG Today. Can you imagine that? Some of us have only been there for a couple, and some of you have been there since the beginning. But we're going to have entertainment, special guests, games, door prizes, and that long-awaited Apple Watch Series 6 drawing that I talked about earlier. So, okay, well now it is time for the movie clues, and I realize there is nothing like the original Michael McCulloch, so I will
This is
do my
Keith.
best. Yeah, Keith.
I was just wondering, is this going to be Steven's movie minutia?
Well, I can certainly, I can do the Stevens mindless movie minutia. How does that sound?
Right on.
But as I said, the clues came from Michael. So,
Wearing silk pajamas.
yeah, the silk pajamas and all that. He didn't let me borrow them. He's stingy about that kind of thing.
Would you want to?
No, I would not.
Really?
All right. So
Good
we do have clues. Yeah. I wasn't going to be caught off guard on that. So here we go. Without further ado, our first clue, our first, really obvious clue that will probably give it away. Our hero's life is an enigma. He's a greedy businessman who is a drinker, a gambler, and womanizer. No, we're not talking about me. But remember, the same rules apply. Say your name first. Don't just yell it out. Say your name. Wait to be recognized. Who would like to take a guess?
This is Street.
Okay, Sheree, go ahead.
Is it Wall Street?
It is not Wall Street. A very good guess, though.
This is
Anybody-
Gail.
Hi, Gail. What's your guess?
Casino?
Casino. Ooh, that's a good one. Not the right answer, though. Who's next? Any other guesses before we move on to clue number 2? All right. Clue number 2. He is a tall, strong man with an intimidating physical presence. A tall, strong man with an intimidating physical
Currently unmuted.
presence. Any guesses for that one?
This is Shri.
Okay, Shree, go ahead.
Walking Tall.
Walking Tall. Oh, yeah, that's a good guess. You would think, but not the right answer. Who else has a guess?
Freddie,
Hey, Freddie, what's your guess?
Doc Holliday,
Doc Holliday. No, not quite the right answer. Good guess, though. Who's next? Well, I don't feel bad because, somebody might have guessed it on the first clue and, would have made Michael look really good. All right. So if there are no more guesses, let's go to clue number 3. He buys caviar and champagne for his clients and their girlfriends, and he likes to get his picture taken with the top brass. He buys caviar and champagne for his clients and their girlfriends, and he likes to get his picture taken with the top brass. Say again?
This is Shri.
Well, let's see if anybody else has any guesses, and then we'll come back to you, Shree. Anybody else have a guess? Okay, Shree, go for it.
Dr. No?
Dr. No is a good guess. Nope. Dr. No is no answer, not the right answer. Any other guesses? Yeah, we got a hard one. Michael left me with a hard one tonight. I knew he would. All right. We got 2 more clues. Clue number 4. I don't know what Michael's thing is about fedoras, but he wears a fedora as he changes from a victimizer into a humanitarian. He wears a fedora as he changes from a victimizer into a humanitarian.
This is David.
David, what's your guess?
Is it Superman?
Superman is a good guess, not the right answer. Any other guesses? Anybody else? All right, before we move on to the 5th clue, I'll go ahead and give you the first floor, see if it jogs anything. Our hero's life is an enigma. He's a greedy businessman who is a drinker, a gambler, and a womanizer. Clue number 2, he is a tall, strong man with an intimidating physical presence. He buys caviar and champagne for his clients and their girlfriends, and he likes to get his picture taken with the top brass. He wears a fedora as he changes from a victimizer into a humanitarian. If there are no other guesses, We will go on to the fifth and final clue, the dead giveaway clue. He risks his life and spends his fortune to save over 1,100 Jews.
This is Sri.
Brad,
Brad, what's your guess?
how about Schindler's List?
How about Schindler's List? That is the right answer.
All right.
Yes. All right. Schindler's List. Yeah, Michael always says dead giveaway. I knew this really was the dead giveaway.
Yeah, that was a dead
He wasn't
giveaway.
kidding this time.
No, he
Schindler's
wasn't.
List is the right answer. So join us this Friday night, 7:30 for the pre-social, 8 o'clock for the movie, Schindler's List. Oh, and you know what else
What
I
a
get to
great
do?
movie too.
Yeah, it is a great movie. You know what else I get to do?
I
Before
love that movie.
Yeah, I get to play Johnny too. Man, this is my night.
Yay!
So, Brad, congratulations. You win a violin played by Itzhak Perlman in iBUG colors.
Right.
Yeah, I can tell your excitement. It's
Yeah,
emanating
I like
through
that.
the phone. So, congratulations, Brad.
Red and
All
black.
right.
Awesome.
So, there you have it. Our movie clues for the night. And we got all 5 clues in, just as Michael would do if he were here. I'm quite proud of myself. All right, enough of that. Let's move back to the program and get back to your questions. And
This is Pete.
is there anybody that has not had a chance to ask a question? And then we'll come back to some of you that may have already asked. But let's see if there's anybody else that hasn't had a chance to ask a question in the first hour.
Sure.
That's David.
David, go ahead, sir.
I just got an Apple Watch yesterday, and I was wondering, has anyone ever put a passcode on theirs, or do they just use it without the passcode? Because I have a feeling it's going to be a pain to have to enter that every time I want to look at the watch.
This is
Jose,
Jose, go ahead.
I have an Apple iWatch. I don't have a password on it because I have big fingers and it barely fits on the screen. So at least for me, I didn't think it'd be worth my while. The thing is, the Apple Watch, unless you put a lot of sensitive things on it, like if I don't know if you have access to your bank account on your Apple Watch and your Apple Wallet and all that stuff, but if you're not having access to all that important data, then I wouldn't worry about putting a password on it.
This is Terry.
Brad. Terry and then Brad. Terry, go ahead.
I do use a 4-digit password. If you want to put a passcode in there, you have the option of either a 4-digit passcode or a 6-digit passcode. And I do have a 4-digit passcode in there. And the reason being that I do use the wallet pay. And so that does require you to have a passcode of some kind in there. So, and when I take my watch off and then I put it back on, it, requires me to put in that passcode, but I don't have any problems with it.
So you only put it in what, as long as you keep the watch on all day, you only put it in the first time and then it remembers it.
Right. Correct.
Oh, okay. Well, I was thinking you had to put it in every time you want to look at someone, like get a notification or get a,
No.
Yeah. Because I also want to do that thing where you could unlock your
Hey, David,
iPhone.
if I could interrupt, it sounds like you're moving your microphone or your
sorry.
earbuds. If you could.
That thing where you can unlock your iPhone with the mask on, that's a new feature in the 14.5, but you can't do it on your Apple Watch unless you have a passcode on the Apple Watch.
This is
Okay, Brad, we'll get to you and then Sheree.
Yeah, it's David. You can, when you set up a passcode on your watch, you can go into the watch app on your iPhone and turn on a switch that says, if your watch is on your arm, when you unlock your iPhone, it will automatically unlock your watch, and you never have to type that code into the watch. And to clarify, I think what Terry was saying, you put that watch on, but every time you take it off, it'll lock itself again. But you put it back on, and as soon as you unlock your iPhone, it will unlock your watch. And like I said, I never have to type in the password
Hmm.
unless I just choose to. Unless my iPhone's not
okay.
nearby and I choose to do it. But you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about it. And I'll also say, like Terry, I've set up my wallet and my Apple Pay on my watch, and that's a very, very handy feature. The other
So
thing
you,
was, go ahead.
do you have to make the passcode the same as your iPhone passcode, I guess?
No, it can be different.
And different.
Mine's the same, but it can be
Yeah.
different, whatever you want it to be. But also that that new feature where it will unlock your face, unlock your iPhone with your watch when you've got a mask on, works very well. And yes, of course you have to have a passcode on your watch. That's how they verify that it's really you. You authenticate it's really you, and whether or not you unlock your watch with your iPhone, I guess that could be turned off and your watch is just on and unlocked. But I mean, I have it on, but it works real well. It's a very handy feature. And that's all I got.
All right. Anyone else?
This is Gail. Wait, this is
Gail?
Gail.
Go ahead, Gail.
Yeah, I have a question about that. Brad, you're saying for the password for the watch, you can, because I thought you had to type it in on the watch. You're saying that you can just go to the phone and put the password on the
Yeah.
watch for the Apple
ever-
Watch on the phone.
Yeah,
and
ever
then
since
you
the
don't-
Apple.
Okay,
Go ahead.
hold
I'm
on.
sorry.
Let Gail finish.
No,
Let
go
Gail
ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you finished. I thought you were done.
Oh, go to the Apple Watch and where the password is and type the password in on the phone, and you don't have to type it in on the watch.
No. If you go into the Apple Watch app on your iPhone,
Right. Right.
under the passcodes section, there is a toggle that you can turn on or off. And the toggle says something to the effect of unlock with iPhone. So you put your watch on, and then when you unlock your iPhone, whichever iPhone you've got, however you unlock that iPhone, it will automatically unlock the watch. And so you do not have to type in the passcode on the watch unless you choose to do so.
Okay, because I have a watch and I was told that if I do that, I would have to type in the passcode. You don't
No.
have to do, okay,
You have to set up a passcode on your watch.
right.
And it, like was already asked, it can be the same passcode you use on your iPhone, but it's independent of it. It's just that you may choose to use the same passcode, but you don't have to.
This is Herbie.
Herbie, go ahead.
Just real quick, 2 reasons why I would also use a passcode on the watch is one, I don't want anybody else messing up my workout data in the event that the watch was stolen. And I mean, if you have an LTE watch, if you don't have a password on it, just think about this. If somebody were to steal it, well, they could actually make phone calls and stuff, away from your phone until you suspend the watch in your account. So having that little bit of extra security could definitely be a good thing. But I also recommend having a different security code for the watch other than the phone. Just, again, in the event that both devices get stolen, you have something to potentially throw off, any hackers or anything like that. So maybe it's insignificant. You never know. But, just a tiny little thing to do to throw off any potential hackers or anything like that is have them separate. And 6-digit, of course, is way more secure than 4-digit, but I do use the phone feature a lot. And speaking of the watch, my timer is going off, but
All right.
But
All right. Thanks,
that's
Herbie.
just my thought on that.
All right, Sri, I'll get to you in just a second. Is there anybody else that hasn't had a chance to answer a question that would like to answer this one before we move on? Okay, Sri, go ahead and have an answer, and then we'll move on to the next question.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the watches also can be used to unlock your computer too. So there's some other benefits too.
Oh, now that I didn't know. Okay, very good. Well, David, I hope that helps you out. Thanks for your question. All right, who has a new question? Someone that
Pete.
hasn't had a chance to ask a question. And Pete,
Pete.
I'll get to you here in just a minute.
I haven't had a chance to ask a question.
I thought you had one earlier.
No, I'm kidding. Go
All
ahead,
right.
Stephen. Sorry.
Anybody else, and then I'll get back to you, Pete. I promise.
Sure, no problem.
This is Terry.
Go ahead, Terry.
Mine isn't so much a question, but a follow-up to something I brought up last week. In the Clubhouse mini buzz last Tuesday, I mentioned that when taking my Series 4 watch off the charger the other day, my voiceover just refused to work. And I ended up having to indeed unpair the watch from the phone and repair it with the phone. Yesterday, I took my Series 6 watch off the charger, and the same thing happened with it. So I unpaired it and repaired it as well, and now it's fine. The good news is it also showed me more recent updates to the watch so that I could put in the most recent one instead of having to put in one from 2019 as I used to have to do. So apparently that problem has indeed been solved. And when you go to set up the watch again, if you don't want to set it up as a new watch, but as a watch from a previous update, they now show you which updates you have, which that was not happening before.
Awesome. Okay. That's one of the things I like about it is we're not only have questions, but we get answers. Even a week later, we'll come up with a solution. We'll dig until we figure it out. So thanks, Terry. We appreciate that. All right, Pete, go ahead with your question, sir.
Yeah, and I'm going to go backwards too, not quite as far as Terry, but back before the break when we were on Zoom. I've often wondered this when I join Zoom meetings, and this has happened with this one each and every time. And then, I do several other ones with some regularity. There's always seems to be a link in the email that I'm sent that says join group or join Zoom meeting. And you flick to the right, and then there's a link. And I tap on the link. Sometimes it takes me to Safari, where Safari asks me if I'm okay with transferring me to another URL, and I tap OK. And then it says join with internet audio. It gives me a choice of audio, whether to dial in, or I think it used to be join with internet audio, and now I think it reads like tonight it read cellular or Wi-Fi connection. And I tapped on it, and I immediately entered the meeting without any meeting ID. So I'm wondering how many of us are actually having to type in meeting IDs and do more login information when joining meetings than merely tapping that one link one time.
Okay.
This is Elisa.
Elisa, go ahead.
So I did see the new change that you mentioned in Zoom, and I don't have to type in any passcodes. It's very often that I do. It's like for one of my other meetings, I have to, but it's very often that I have to. But I do see that. Do you want to join with Wi-Fi or cellular network? Or yeah, I've seen that.
You often see a lot of access phone numbers, depending on where you might be in the country. I just skip through those until I find the invitation that says join Zoom meeting, flick once, and there's your link, and tap on in, and it takes you literally right into the meeting without having to enter any other login IDs, meeting IDs, anything like that. So I'm wondering how many people are not aware of that, Stephen. I was just wanted to kind of bring that to their attention.
Yeah, that's great, Pete. I appreciate it. Anybody else have a comment on that or have experienced that?
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
I was just going to say that I always do One Touch Mobile. So when I do the One Touch Mobile link, it always just takes me to select if I wanted to use internet or a dial-in number. But the only thing that changed now is it says internet or cell service.
Yeah.
But I do believe that you can go into your profile settings, say that when you log into Zoom, you always use internet dial. So it may bypass that secondary.
Okay.
Ask you.
Good. Yeah, but I hear people saying, well, I have to, copy or somehow type in that meeting ID as a secondary kind of a login, and it just seems unnecessary. So just wanted to bring that up, Stephen. Thanks.
All right. You bet, Pete. Thanks so
This is
much. We
Keith.
appreciate it. Keith, is this on this question or a new
Yes.
question? Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
Oh, one more thing. If you go into the Zoom app and go to settings, you can, I believe it's under general. You can go to auto connect. You can set how you want it to connect your audio using the Wi-Fi or the internet. That way that alert does not appear every time that you log in. But it's in the settings there at the bottom right tab, and then
In the
I
Zoom
believe
app?
it's under general. Yes.
Yeah, gotcha. Thanks, Steve.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your question. Moving right along. Anybody have a new topic that hasn't had a chance to chime in as a new question?
This is Shrey. I've got a question.
Okay, let's see if anyone else has one, Tree, and then I'll come back to you.
Sounds good.
Anyone else has a problem need
Elisa?
solving? Okay, Lisa, if you can eliminate your background noise, go ahead with your question. There you go.
Hold on. Give me
Okay.
1 second.
All right, we'll come back to you, Elisa. Anyone else have a question? Okay, Shree, go ahead with yours.
Herbie.
Oh, go ahead, Herbie, and then Shree, I will
So just a
get back
real
to you.
quick question. Has anybody had experience doing the airdrop sharing of a password in Keychain? Because I was trying to send the password to Chanel earlier and she didn't get the airdrop notification. So I was just wondering if anybody had any experience, had ever done that.
Airdrop password sharing?
Yep, in
Through
Keychain. If you go
Keychain.
to password, and I think there's a share option, and then you can only do it by airdrop, from what I can tell.
Okay.
But
Does
she didn't
anyone-
get the notification, so I just had to give it to her verbally. But I just wondered if anybody else had any experience trying that. So
Okay, anyone can help Herbie out with that? Maybe a couple people in here that uses Keychain.
probably a good
Brad.
Sandia question. Oh, Brad.
Brad, go ahead, Brad.
I have never been able to get that password exchange thing to work.
Okay.
I've often wondered. I mean, I've tried it with my wife, and I've often wondered. It says you've got to be in each other's contacts, and I've always suspected that she has me in her contacts differently from the way that I have myself in my own contacts, and vice versa. So I've always said that's why it doesn't work.
Okay, because we both share each other's contact card, and
Yeah.
that's
so
interesting.
then
I mean, like I had to be like literally in the same room just to get Chanel's phone to even show up.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one then. Okay.
Well, maybe that's it. You did get the phone to show up though, but you weren't able to.
I got the phone to show up, but she did not get the notification that I was, trying to send her the password.
I don't know.
so-
I don't have to use it that often, and
Yeah, it's something I've
I've
tried
just
to
put
do
a
for the first
password in
time
a text
myself.
message and sent it to her.
Yeah.
If I needed to do it, but
Okay.
anyway,
Pete?
I haven't had any luck with it either.
Go ahead, Pete.
Herbie, I wonder if you've tried other airdrop without the password, if it works on the normal airdrop.
Yeah, I've done other airdrops before. It's not my favorite feature on the iPhone, to be honest with you. Like sometimes I've gotten contact cards via airdrop and then they disappear when I try to import them. But and when I have done airdrop, whoever's doing it, if I'm doing it or the other person, we do get that little notification.
Little
But
chain
I think
thing, yeah.
keychains they make it so
Yeah.
secure that there's
Yeah.
something we're missing somewhere. So
Yeah, sounds like it.
okay, well,
Okay.
glad it
All
wasn't
right.
just me. So
I'm just curious, Herbie, the airdrop, the password sharing, is that something that has been there since the beginning of Keychain, or is it there's something just a more recent feature?
I want to say it has been, but I mean, to be fair, today was the first time I'd even ever tried sharing a password.
Ah.
But I think it has been there for as I want to say it has been. It's always been there. So
Okay. Yeah, just curious. All right. Anyone else have a comment on that before we move on to the next topic? Okay, Shri, go ahead with your question, sir.
All right, so I've got an AirTag question, and my question is referred to stalking. I'm trying to find an article, or if anybody knows, if the tag is used for stalking purposes, how quickly does that person get notified that there's a tag on them? I can't seem to find a good answer, and I'm trying to explain this to my kid.
Oh boy. So, okay, AirTag stalking, not stalking, but stalking, right?
No.
Just kidding. All right. Anybody can help out Shri with that? I bet
And
that's a
really-
Sandhya question.
And really, the question I'm asking is like, how long will it take for her to get notified that there is somebody put a tag on her?
This
Okay,
is
Herbie, did you have something on that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I would hope if somebody put a tag on you, you would notice it. I mean, I guess they're really small, but if somebody's, I guess, I've never encountered this. I've heard thieves or whatever can be pretty light fingered, so. But I've always wondered, okay, like as a blind, I don't know if your daughter is blind or not, but for me personally, I've wondered as a blind person, would that even be a factor? But we could be going down paths here that we don't need to be going down, so that's fine. But getting back to the original question is, I'm trying, I know there's some articles that have talked about concerns over stalking, but these AirTags are so new and there's already some changes with the 14.6 developer beta. And whatnot, I guess just I don't know if there, I think the only thing you could really, I don't know if anybody would even have an answer on this yet without
This is Brad.
trying it out.
Go ahead, Brad.
There's been some articles on Apple Insider about this topic. I cannot remember the interval or how long it takes, but according to the articles I've read, you do get a notice that says that an AirTag that does not belong to you or is not part of your Apple ID is traveling with you. And I cannot remember the interval, but if you go to Apple Insider and look for it or do an internet search on it, but you'll probably find them. One of the negatives of it was that the notification pops up and then, isn't real noticeable and goes away and doesn't come back. I'm not sure if it shows up. You would think it would show up in your notification center. But that was one of the problems they talked about with it. Another one they talked about was it can also, if it's not with the person who it belongs to, it may, after 3 days, start doing a little chirping thing. But my understanding is that doesn't last very long either. But
This
like I
is
said, there's
Terry.
been some articles on this. I'd search for it.
Okay, Terry, go ahead.
I thought last Monday, Sandhya said that that Apple was not allowing that, and there was something to do with if a AirTag was going to be on somebody else, there was some kind of a passcode that something interfered with the ability for that to be used to stalk somebody, because they were concerned about that very thing.
Well, this is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
The way I'm looking at this is, and I'm just thinking out loud here. If we're in the very busy day, if I'm in the metro station and I'm with a bunch of other people, my phone is not going to start picking tags that somebody else has, because otherwise my phone is going to pick up 50 different tags around me. The system has to figure something out to say, okay, there's some obscure thing is occurring with a tag around you. And I just can't figure this out. Now, if they say 3 days, that's somebody already knows where you live. If 3 days takes you to find out. I have not found any article that says, okay, in 15 minutes, the thing is going to go off. I'm trying to get I agree. I haven't got a good answer, and I'm just letting my daughter know, you got to be careful that back.
Okay. Any other comments or suggestions for Shri?
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
One thing I could definitely recommend though is don't, try to avoid wearing anything that would have like open pockets because the AirTags, unlike I think the tiles, it's different, but the AirTags, it's my understanding you need something else to attach them to if you want them to stick to anything. So the only way I think you could probably easily get them visibly tracked is if somebody could put them into like an open pocket or whatever. So obviously if they have an accessory that's going to stick to you, that might make it a little bit more noticeable. So one thing I think I would do is have closed pockets, don't have any open purses, anything like that. And that at least it won't maybe eliminate it, but it'll certainly make you a harder target, at least for a random thing. And always guard, if you have to open your purse or bag for anything, always make sure you're standing over the open area, always, keeping a watch on it or an arm inside or something so that somebody can't sneak something past you. So just kind of, I think, like some basic precautions like that would help.
Yeah, this is Sri. I'm sorry. Last thing I'll say. I'm more concerned about somebody sticking a tag on a car that she has like no idea that somebody did. It's not something that's really, it may not be just on her purse or anything. It's just, this is something that as a parent, I'm not seeing a good answer for a device that doesn't tell us right away that there's something following you. That's what I'm trying to understand. And I've got a I have a young adult daughter that's, she's going to be in an environment that people could put something that she has no idea and not know it.
That's very true. And that's certainly a legitimate concern.
That was it. Thank you.
All right. Any other observations before we move on to the next question?
Well,
This is Keith.
Keith, go ahead.
I was going to say, this has to do with AirTag accessories. I'm having a little buyer's remorse. I purchased a nice AirTag leather keychain thinking, oh, it's a higher price than the Belkin. So it's got to be great quality. And when I received it, it's basically the metal key ring with a little bitty leather strap to the loop that holds the AirTag. So I'm thinking, everybody, you probably will save $20 by getting the Belkin and get pretty much the same thing.
Okay. All right. Anybody have an observation on that?
This is Brad.
Brad, go ahead.
Yeah, I got one of those too. It's a nice little leather keychain, but definitely not worth whatever $35 that I paid for it. And,
wow.
The little Belkin plastic ring is for like $14. It's overpriced too, but that would certainly be a lot easier to put on the key ring I already have. And it looks like it would even more securely hold the AirTag. A simple search on Amazon shows that there are now all kinds of third-party accessories that are available for much lower prices than anything Apple has for sale. So
$35 for that?
Yeah, I think it was $34.99. I don't know. I admit it. I bit whatever. I ordered it when I ordered my AirTag. It's a nice little keychain, but doesn't really look to me like it holds the thing. I haven't used it yet. Because I was debating on giving it to my wife or not. But anyway, it doesn't really look like it's going to hold that AirTag all that securely either.
This is Sri.
Sri, one more comment, and then we'll move on to the next question. Go ahead.
So this is a question for Brad and Keith. Now, I've read that you can't the loop, that you had to put it through a separate loop. Is that correct?
That's the one I got.
Go ahead, Keith.
So the one I got the actual keychain. It's listed under accessories as a AirTag leather keychain. It is the regular metal loop that you would find on a key ring, and it has a leather strap going from that to the circle piece that would hold the AirTag. So it is a keychain, and I was just thinking for $30-something, it would be a little more substantial, but it's pretty basic.
Yeah, this is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, like he said, it's got a nice little metal ring and then it's got like a little leather key fob with a ring in it to put the AirTag. And it's not similar. It's very similar to something you might buy at your automotive parts store that might have where the AirTag would go. It might have a Ford or a BMW emblem, the kind that's been around for many, many years. In this case, it's got an empty hole, a ring where you would insert the AirTag. It's a nice keychain. It's probably worth $9.99. I don't know. It's certainly not. I don't, but
Yes.
typical Apple. The little holder costs more than the device you bought for it to hold. So,
Even at
It is-
$9.99, you're probably making $4 off of it.
Oh yeah, there's probably a huge margin on this device. So, whatever. I don't know. It is what it is.
Pete, go ahead.
I just took a quick trip over to Safari after Shree's question and tried to search Apple Insider to see if there was a time element mentioned. The only one I see is a 3-day alarm starts when an AirTag goes out of the range of the owner. So once somebody tags your child and it goes out of the phone range, then there's a 3-day alarm, which seems pretty excessive to me.
Yeah.
I don't know where the alarm sounds, and they say that's problematic for home abuse, spousal abuse, because the offending spouse often comes home at the end of the day and can just reset it, and the alarm doesn't sound. So I guess the tag itself would sound on your daughter's purse or backpack or belt loop or whatever it would be, Sri. But there was an Apple Insider article that I could not get to with Safari, so
This is
it seemed
Herbie.
like there would be a little bit more there.
Okay, we want to move on to another question. Brad,
Okay, I
and then
did have a
Herbie.
quick thought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
so one thing,
Brad, let
what's
Brad go
interest-
first, Herbie, and then I'll get to
okay.
you. Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Brad.
the 3-day thing is when you have lost when one of your own AirTags has been out of range of your iPhone for 3 consecutive days. It will start to make a chirp, and that's to alert the owner of the AirTag that their AirTag is missing.
What chirps?
As far
The
as
tag itself?
the tag itself chirps, and it's pretty lame.
Yeah.
It doesn't
See,
really
that
do
would
much.
clue
Now,
Three's daughter, though, wouldn't it?
no. Oh, yeah, maybe. But the alert I was talking about in the article I read, and I was sitting here searching Apple Insider for it, is when an AirTag has been traveling with you for a certain period of time, and I'm trying to figure out what that period of time is. An alert will pop up on like the daughter's iPhone,
right?
That would alert her that an AirTag that does not belong to her is traveling with her.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah,
that's
probably
what
in
I'm
that
looking
article I
for.
couldn't get to. Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and
good.
that system is also kind of inadequate.
All right. Final comment from Herbie, and then we need to move on to the next question.
it's interesting. Something a conversation's coming back to me the other day. So, Club Applevis, I was asking about how would the AirTags be useful for tracking luggage. And one thing Anonymous, Thomas Donville had said that he noticed is that the precision finding is not that accurate when the AirTag is in motion. So it occurred to me that if the AirTag was actually attached to a car, it would be more effective at tracking the car, not it would track the car. It wouldn't be able to track the car until she stopped moving, which, I guess that would happen at a traffic light. And, but it would only tell the person the location of the car, not, but if she got out of the car by the time they get the location again, that might be, it may not be that effective to use the AirTag on a car. Plus, depending on where you put it on the car, if it's melts an expensive leather keychain thing, well, bye AirTag anyway. But just as an example, because you're going to need some kind of holder for it, because the AirTag itself, from my understanding, doesn't have an adhesive. But I would think this would be a problem, even going back to just even with Tile. And my last quick thought is, though, for Shri and anybody, it's something that you may want to call Apple and voice your concerns about to their customer service, because hearing that type of feedback could really help accelerate figuring out how to solve these type of problems before somebody does get hurt.
All
This is
right.
Sri.
You know, well, yeah, we need to move on, Sri, because we've got about 15 minutes left. So
I just want to
it's
say,
been a great discussion, though. Yeah, go ahead, real
I
quick.
I had a massive argument with Apple about this today because they could not even tell me the right answer.
Hmm.
And that's why I
Yeah.
asked.
I must admit, this was something I hadn't even thought about. I kind of wish Sandhya was here. She would certainly, I'm sure, have weighing in on it since she got some air tags too. So
It's all over the
Elisa?
media.
yeah. All right. Great discussion, guys. Okay, Elisa, you know, you were trying to ask your question earlier. Go ahead.
So does anybody or has anybody seen, has anybody heard like what are the colors for the new iPhone 13 coming out and what are we gonna expect? I mean, is it gonna
Probably
be
not. Sorry, Mark speaking.
Go ahead,
better
Mark.
features?
Probably not till September, Lisa, because they don't usually come out with the full new model until then. So
Okay.
like they won't even kind of come out for WWDC. They might talk about it more and stuff like that in June, but I don't expect new iPhone models until September.
Okay.
This
Anybody
is
else?
Keith.
Wayne, Keith, go ahead.
Did I see somewhere where the iPhone 12 is coming out in purple?
Yes, you did.
Yes, it is.
You are correct. Purple
This is Elisa.
iPhone
This is
12.
correct,
Go
Keith.
ahead, Elisa.
This is correct. I heard about it too, Keith.
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
I did go to the store. My wife did see the purple. The purple is not going to be available in the Pro Series.
Okay. Anybody else about the 13 or the 12? All right. Good question, Lisa. Okay, next topic. Next question. Anybody have something new?
This is Jody.
Hi, Jody. Go ahead.
Hi. I missed the beginning of the meeting because I had a board meeting tonight, and I love coming to Monday nights.
Well, we
chat,
love
but,
having you.
Oh, thank you. Can I ask a Clubhouse question?
Sure.
Okay. I just joined Clubhouse this week. I love it. And I found where when you go to a person, you can be notified if they're on, sometimes, always, or never. But I'm looking at clubs, and how do you turn on notifications for clubs, specifically iBUG?
Ah, good question. Turning on notifications for clubs in Clubhouse. Anybody want to weigh in on that?
Well, there is the new it's Mark speaking.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
There is the new RSVP feature in clubs. So if you click on a club and you go into it and there's an event upcoming and you click on that event, it will ask you if you want to RSVP. Now, to the best of my understanding, that's for you to assure notifications that you will receive prior to the event. That's what you have to do. It says its default is not attending, but you double tap on not attending and it will tell you that you're attending that event.
Oh,
So,
good. Thank you. So you go to the club and you look for event.
yeah, you go to the club, you go to upcoming events and pick the event you're interested in. Tap on that. It will say what the event is about. There will be an RSVP button that says not attending. You double tap on the not attending and it changes it to attending.
Great. Thank you.
And that's all you have to do. And then supposedly it will let you know. You could also put it in your calendar, but that's an extra step that you can do, but it's not necessary. And one thing I did discover about that, don't put it in your calendar as a recurring event because the particular URL only works for that event that it links your calendar to. And if you're going to next week's Irish pub, it won't work. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, thank you. And I do go to the Irish pub too.
All right, Keith, go ahead.
I was going to say another fail safe. You can always, if you know one of the moderators, say like iBUG, if you do the same notification for Michael himself, then you would be notified when
Oh, that's
Michael.
a good idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Thanks, Jody. Good question. And it actually occurred to me when you asked the question, we've been devoting about 15 minutes during the second half or so to Clubhouse questions. And I just realized we hadn't been doing that. So are there any other Clubhouse questions? If not, we can move back to regular iOS topics.
Regular programming. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I would
Sorry.
like to make a Clubhouse comment. One thing that occurred to me this week that I would like to see, and maybe we all can write in, I would like to see in the hallway when a room was actually started. If it was started at 7 o'clock and I'm going in at 8:30, I would like to know that, hey, it's already been in session for an hour and a half. You know, it would be nice to know the time that it has been open.
Yeah, how long the room's been in progress for you, mean Keith? Like,
Yeah, something like
that'd
that.
be cool.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody
Anybody?
actually suggested yesterday, just in passing in the town hall, that they'd like to know when they see a room and they before they click on the room, it's to know who of their followers is in that room, if there's anybody. So that was a good suggestion. And by the way, the email address has changed to support@clubhouse, forget the join, support@clubhouse.com.
Ah, okay. That's
Okay.
good to know.
Yeah.
Support@clubhouse.com.
.com. Yes, sir.
Pete,
Okay. Pete, go ahead.
on Clubhouse, the newest update does have the number of attendees back on the title of the room in your hallway. I don't know if anybody noticed that.
Oh, had that been missing in a previous one? Or
Yes, it was. They busted it a week ago Sunday, and they fixed it on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it now tells you the moderators and the 15, 20 emojis that they have lined up there. They're annoying.
Yes, they
and
are.
then it will tell you the number of participants, number of speakers, number of moderators, and then the number of attendees. Like
This is Mark speaking with the question.
Go ahead, Mark.
Clubhouse question. I'm under the impression that in the bulletin, they've sort of tried to fix a little bit your events for me so that it's easier to scroll through them, but I haven't optimized to the best of my ability how to do that. But it seems to be somewhat easier to get more events as you scroll up you get to the bottom, and then you take the one finger and from the bottom of the screen and slide up, and you will get the next bunch of events, and it seems to be more cooperative. I wonder if anybody has noticed that with the bulletin.
All right. Very good. Any other questions or comments about Clubhouse?
This is Hal.
Hi, Hal. Go ahead.
Hi, Steve, and everybody. I just have a positive comment to make. But when you're in a room and you're not sure who the speaker is, if you two-finger double tap, that's a very good way to find out who's talking. I'm very, very pleased that they implemented that.
Yes. Good point. Very good point. Okay.
Well,
Thank you, Hal.
For
Go ahead,
anybody,
Mark.
it's Mark speaking, sorry. For anybody, I'm using Clubhouse protocol instead of iBUG
I know.
protocol.
Gets confusing after a while.
I'm sorry. One thing about that is you have to be down, not at the top where it says who the moderators are, but went down either in the list of speakers or down at the bottom of the participants in the room for that function to speak. If two people end up talking at the same time, it will sometimes say Keith and Mark are speaking. Sometimes it gets out of focus and it may not work. So you just have to play around with it, be a little bit patient with it. This is Mark and I'm done speaking.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Anybody else on Clubhouse with questions? Elisa, go ahead.
So have y'all noticed in the hallway, whenever you used to go into a room, it would say how many people are speaking? They took that away, didn't they? Or am I wrong?
Mark,
I
Mark,
don't see it anymore.
go ahead, Mark.
That's what I just mentioned, Stephen.
Yeah, that is. Pete just got through mentioning that.
This is Pete.
Go ahead and clarify for her, though, Pete.
This is Pete speaking. Sorry, Mark. And Lisa, that I just mentioned that has changed with the latest update to the Clubhouse app. Now they have the numbers of people attending each of the meetings back on the title in your hallway.
Now, is that something that was broken in when 14.5 first came out, or was it before
Yes,
that?
no, this was in Clubhouse as it was broken in the hallway. That
Yeah,
was
the
one of the
last
things that didn't
update a
work.
week ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Friday they fixed that as well.
Okay.
What? This is Elisa.
This
I
is
haven't
Herbie.
seen that.
Okay, hold on. Elisa, go ahead.
This is Elisa. I have not seen that. Maybe I got to go into more rooms to see that now.
What's in your hallway when you first open the app and you have the Explore
Yeah,
button at
I
the
haven't
top?
seen that.
Then you need to get the updated app from your app store in your
Yeah. Do
App
you know
Store
you
app.
have the latest update from Clubhouse, Elisa?
Yes, the one that recently just came out. I haven't checked for any more updates.
Yeah, today it came.
Today there was
today.
another one. Yeah.
Oh.
And it changes. So now when you see a room, like you'll see iBUG and you'll see Michael's name and whoever and the whatever emojis, then at the very end, it will list the names of the moderators, the names of the speakers, and the name of the number of attendees, just like it used to.
Yeah.
But
it's back
it
to
did
the
go
way it
for
was.
about a week. It went for about a week without those numbers. So that's what you're thinking of, Elisa.
Okay.
But they fixed it.
This is Herbie.
All right, Herbie, go ahead.
Just real quick, for those of you that have not heard, our Android friends can now download Clubhouse in the United States. So if you know anybody that uses Android, make sure that they've heard the news. So
That's right. So maybe on the Android Insights, you can start taking Android Clubhouse questions. All right. Anyone else with a Clubhouse question? We've got about 5 minutes left for the call, and we can take some
This is
Clubhouse
great.
questions or some other topics. Go ahead. Who is speaking?
This is Shree.
Shree, go ahead.
Do you guys know if any new accessibility features got turned on with the latest update?
Not today, Tree. Just the privacy update. That's all they did, and the poop on Android. I don't know why they put it in our app, but that's okay. It was actually with Paul's signature at the end of the update. It's kind of cute.
That is interesting. Okay. Anybody else with Clubhouse? All right. Well, in the short time that we have left.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Nikki. I couldn't unmute myself.
Oh,
fast
go
enough.
ahead, Nikki. Yeah, go right ahead.
When is there going to be another one? Because a friend of mine from the CCB, San Francisco chapter, has trouble. She has trouble. She's just joined and she has trouble getting rid of some of the people that she followed by accident. Or she said it looked as if she had already had a lot of people to follow that she didn't want to follow. And that it was really hard for her to go through all that list. And she wondered if there was an easier way to do it. But the main thing is, are you having another group talk about directions and how to deal with Clubhouse? Because I can make sure she gets that link and comes to that program.
Okay. Anybody have a comment on that?
this is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
Well, first of all, you can just go to each profile and look for the unfollow button. But we do have our mini buzz tomorrow on Clubhouse from 5 to 6 Central Time. And we do take Clubhouse questions the last 15 minutes of that. So if she joins that, then she could ask her question there.
Okay, great. Okay, I'll let her know. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. A couple of minutes left. Time for maybe one more quick question before we leave tonight. Anybody have a question? Or a new topic? If not, I have a quick one. I mentioned this on Saturday at the iBUG Cafe, but I thought I'd bring it up. When I'm in watching Netflix, mainly, I think it also happens with Prime, but a lot of Netflix, and watching a foreign show, a show that's been produced somewhere else, like in Spain or France, it seems like there is only one choice of audio description, and that is in that language from that country, like Spanish or French. Is there, are they only producing, if the shows are produced from somewhere else, are they only producing it in that language, or am I just missing something? Is there a choice that I can have?
Mark speaking.
Go ahead, Mark.
I think it has to do with, if it came out of that country, it has something to do with licensing regulations, and they has to be licensed to a provider of audio description from the producer, from the originator of the production. So if they're not doing it for English, or if Netflix is not arranging for it, That's the issue. I've ran into some French movies like being in Quebec, and they have to translate movies into French from English in Quebec, but they don't have to do it the other way.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I had a feeling that was kind of the prevailing answer. Which I guess, if they're in that country, well, we shouldn't have to produce it in English, just in our own language.
Right.
But I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
Sometimes you might get lucky, though. You might get lucky, depending upon the movie.
Always pays to look, just to
Yep,
make sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's good. Well, thank you, everyone. We have reached the end of our call. So I want to thank everybody for coming. Mark, thank you so much for working with me tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a blast. I've had a blast, and it always is when we participate in these events. So we'll see you tomorrow night.
That's right. Yep. Tomorrow night, don't forget the mini buzz on Clubhouse. That's from 5 to 6 p.m. Central. Thursday is the Vila Book Club. Friday night at the iBUG Virtual Movies. Don't forget, you have 11 days left to enter for that Apple Series 6 Apple Watch. So thank you all again for joining us. Have a great night, and we will see you next time.
Stephen,
Good night.
before we stop recording, I was trying to get on mute on Clubhouse. If you go to your profile and find following, tap on that and go down the list. It will list the clubs that you're a member of. Then below that, it will list each of the people that you are following, and it will give their profile picture, their name, and then it will say unfollow. So you can go through there and then unfollow a lot quicker than going to each individual profile.
Ah, great. Yeah,
Okay,
great point.
thank you.